Following Willie more and more. Back in the NRL. There's Willie Mason.
I've forgotten how big Willie actually is.
Perhaps the presence of Willie had the Panthers looking at his imposing frame.
I'm a 25-minute man. Plus. Oh, you got skill, son.
Uppercut right hand by Big Willie.
Too fancy for you.
Welcome to episode number 23. Spring has sprung, Will. It's nice, isn't it? I got the flamingos on.
Beautiful day.
Lovely
25. Day. Might turn to shit because I don't know what's happened. I remember last Tuesday it was beautiful when we started filming. We walked outside. It was fucking went from 22 to 10 or even less, windy, and it even hailed on the way home.
Hails?
It hailed on the way home.
Did it?
It did. For about 3 minutes it hailed. I swear.
Yeah, right. I just don't leave the house anymore.
I know, same.
Mate, it's been a big week for Australian cultural cringe. We've all gone mental with Shaquille O'Neal, who is a legend.
He's a legend, yeah.
Hasbulla as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Hasbulla does, but I know what Shaq does.
Long and the short. So, mate, you actually you were very lucky to go to the DJ set.
I was invited there on Marquee on Saturday night, which was quite fun. Got to meet the Big Diesel. He was always a hero of mine. I mean, anyone who's my age, we all know Shaq. Shaq's the most dominant, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he's the man. Like, he changed the game. They had to change freaking rings for him because he was breaking everything. Like, no one's seen anything like him. So, like, you know, you even though you're not a massive basketball fan, you know who Shaq is.
I was then, though. That's
but like, he brought us all into it. Jordan, Shaq,
yeah.
all that sort of stuff. So anyone who's our age loves Shaq. So I heard that he was here. I wasn't going to do too much. If I got invited to something or if I got, an invitation, I would have went.
I heard you slid into his DMs.
Anyway, I went to Marquee. Like, Chris Walker organised it all. Shout out to PointsBet. They did. They organised a lot of things. Andy, owner of SportsBet, great guy. So we went out on the Saturday, and then on the Sunday we were in it down near the Rocks at the Squire Bar. We had a few drinks there, and then we got to meet Shaq again, sober. And then shoot some threes and that with him. Yeah, we didn't shoot. No one shot that well. No one shot that well, I swear. But it was just good to muck around. Latrell was there, Gal was there, both Trebojevic brothers. Tim Zoo was there. I think Timmy Zoo won. I think he killed it. A couple of AFL players.
He doesn't drink, does he?
Tim Zoo, no, he was just fine.
Go. So
I was seeing about 3 rings. Texas, Chris Walker was passing it like a footy because he couldn't see anything. But it was just good. It was a really good turnout. And then after that, we kicked on and we had a great night, mate. It was good to meet him. He was just a massive human, but so much fun, good energy. He had a good crew with him, like real hospitable. And, he hung around with us and, got photos with everyone, signed a heap. What about I bought 3 proper basketballs from Rebel, and Chris Walker was supposed to look after him to get him signed.
No good?
He lost them because he was too pissed. He goes, I don't know where the balls are. And I'm like, Shaq's just there and he's fucking leaving. And he goes, I don't know where I put him. So we just brushed him. Proper NBA balls cost me $300 for 3 balls. I'm like, you're an idiot.
Well, now your mates, you can slide back into his DMs again.
Yeah.
Hey, Shaq.
You got to send me some balls. That would have been out because I know how busy he was. That was the only opportunity for us to get him signed because he was signing some stuff. I said, "Where are those balls, Texas?" He's like, "What balls?" I don't know. I was like, "I'm going to choke you." Anyway, no balls signed. I don't know. Yeah, done.
I was just sitting here on Sunday night minding my own business, watching the TV. It's been a couple of times now. My young bloke goes, "There's Willie. There's Uncle Willie." I look across and I've rewound it. And I thought, and they're going, and you're sitting there in a PointsBet singlet, and I thought, he's had a couple here. And then I didn't hear from you. It was a 1-word response on Tuesday. I thought, yeah, that was a weekend.
No, it was a good weekend. I had a really good weekend.
One thing I wanted to get a shout out. I got a message today from one of the boys that was involved with that Poland rugby league side that we went and supported. They got a game against South Africa up at Southport. I think it's the first time they've played since basically that tournament. So,
wow, where's Southport? North? Brisbane?
Queensland. Like the Goldie, I think.
Right.
I think of the Goldie.
You should go up there and watch.
I think you do anything to get the Goldie. But good luck to the Polish boys. I think they've got a new coach and a couple of things. So anything that they can do that can sort of support these emerging nations to play is a good thing.
Yeah, shout out to a lot of the. I've been sending some videos to a lot of junior clubs. Macquarie Scorpions was playing my junior club. They were playing on the grand final. So a lot of young kids are holding their grand finals this week. So if I don't, I'm going to try and send a video to all the teams. But if I don't, like, good luck this week. But I will send the videos to each club because they're all in my DMs. There's about 50 of them. So I'm just like, I'll try and get to all of them.
I think they were last weekend.
No, and there's some this weekend.
Oh, there's some this weekend.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I
right.
sent a heap last week. I did. I sent a heap, but I know there's still some in there this week. So I think it's from last week, and I think this week will probably be the older ones. I think it was like maybe from 10s to 15s.
Yeah,
and then I think 15s and older this week. So good luck to all the junior teams. And like it was. I just try and explain to these young kids, like, enjoy your footy while you can when you're young, when you're 14. Because it starts to get a little bit serious, 15, 16.
It's less fun then.
It's less fun. It's a lot more responsibilities and there's a lot more pressure. So enjoy it while you can, young kids.
You and GI and Joey did a video message for Finn in his grand final a couple of years ago, and they got dusted by Concord. So maybe it's better you don't send the messages. One thing I do want to talk about, I want to start with this because it's really annoyed me all week. So there's always this sort of rugby union versus rugby league thing, and there's no question that rugby league is, in terms of participation and in terms of television viewers and whatever, it's the superior game
in Australia.
Yeah. Right? Over the worldwide, obviously, rugby union's huge at the moment. So,
third most played game, I think. Soccer, cricket, union,
and then
sure.
and cricket's just because of India, to be honest. Yeah. Like if you look at number of countries, but so. They've come out and they've said that, and I don't know where these stories come from because I don't think that Rugby Australia is going to come out and say that they're going to give Joseph Suaalii.
Have they said something that it's come from the ARU?
Hamish McClellan, he's pretty good at getting headlines, and he came out a little while ago and said that they would be looking at particular players that might bolster both for the World Cup in Australia in 27 and the Lions Tour in 25. And it was non-specific. I think they might have thrown up Matt Burton's name. Now, Matt Burton's not going to go to rugby union, but Joseph Suaalii is an absolute superstar in the making. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's a superstar now, to be honest. He'll probably end up playing.
I think he'll play. He'll have to make a decision whether he's going to play for Samoa or Australia. He'll make both.
So they look at this 10 million over 5 years contract that's been thrown around the press. Let me just give people some understanding of rugby union contracts. Over in France and England, that's where the big money comps are, right?
Yeah.
So there's players that are on about the equivalent of about 1.3, 1.4 Australian. There's not many of them, but there's a few. Then you look at this contract. You're talking about a code that has basically only just come out of basically almost going under financially. You're talking about them making a kid of 19 the highest paid player in the world by $600,000 a year, roughly. And then you're expecting that this, after they get out of the problems that they've had in the past financially, that this is a good business decision. Anyone who made that decision should straight away not just be sacked from their job, but they should be taken to the nearest nut house and locked up, because that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. If I look at rugby union, what rugby union has got now is a group of young kids that are coming through that have got skills and talent. They just beat South Africa on the weekend. And what you're saying is we don't trust you. That, to me, I don't know where these stories come from, but from my perspective, Will, throwing the farm at rugby league players does not fix rugby union. And all it does now is it creates an environment where if I'm playing fullback for the Wallabies and they're going, I'm going to go and throw $1 billion at this kid, I'm going, why don't I go overseas? I'm going to go overseas. I'm going to get paid more. I've gone into rugby union and I've given my all and I've taken less money to stay with the Wallabies. And now they're talking about these league players. It's just wrong.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but I understand where union's coming from as well. I don't think they look at Suaalii as a league boy. I reckon they look at him as one of their own.
Yeah.
That just got, we got him first. I'm thinking that's what they're thinking. They're like, we'll get him back. What does it take to get him back? Would it take $2 million? Are they going a little bit too far? I understand that the kid is worth a hell of a lot of money. He's marketable. He's everything that you want from your young superstar kid. I mean, he's going to be probably arguably the best. What is it called? Like whatever Sonny Bill was and Israel Folau. A code hopper. He's going to be the best code hopper of all time. I think because the kid played from such a young age and he's an absolute freak, he's going to do whatever he wants to do. And if the ARU think that getting a kid like him can bolster the chances of kids who are just say 15, 16 now to switch to if they're in that position of like making either want to be playing league or want to be union. You know what I mean? Maybe if we can get a Suaalii, they're like, oh well, I want I want to play union again because it's I think we're sort of winning that battle where we're getting union's best kids
For sure.
and it sucks. Because I think, obviously, like, rugby league is a breeding ground for young players. And I think what happens is our development is a lot better. It's a lot harder. It's we take a lot more time into developing those young kids as players mentally, physically. So when they do decide to go back to union, they're already made men. Like Suaalii goes to union right now. He's going to kill everyone.
For sure.
Do you know what I mean? So I think if I was a young kid like Suaalii, I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the Roosters for about 3 years, hopefully jag a comp, play for Australia, New South Wales, and then I'm going to go over and play in the next World Cup. I'm going to play in the World Cup for a couple of years, and then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to do this, and I'm just going to keep going until I'm like 35, 36, and then I'll retire. So I think he's probably the only one who could probably keep doing that at the highest level. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not sure I don't know where the $2 million a year comes from.
That's stupid.
And it's not a fact, so I'm not going to say, they're definitely going to offer him that, but I'm pretty sure they're going to offer him a fair bit. It'd be over $1 million.
Well, they should. I mean, he's
because
the sort
because
of
of the
$1 million
marketability,
player.
marketability of that kid, and the way he handles himself as a young man, and the jerseys that will be sold, the name, everything like that, like his
so
IP,
impressive.
he's so impressive as a young kid. I think he might be worth about 1.5 to Union because they're losing so many young kids, and it's like that kid's a superstar already in league, and money does talk.
Well, the thing as well, like so Cameron Murray's name gets chucked around because Cameron Murray played Australian schoolboys out of Newington, which is one of the big rugby schools in Sydney. But what people don't realise is that Cameron Murray came across from Marcelin in year maybe 10, maybe 10 or 11.
Yeah.
So, but Marcelin's a league school.
Yeah.
So he grew up playing for Mascot. He grew up playing rugby league at school. And then what happens with rugby league is they're going away from it a bit now, but they can say to a kid from the country, or they can say to and they say, we're going to help your education. So we're going to send you to a really top Sydney private school, but you're contracted to us now.
Yeah.
And so they're not rugby union or rugby league players, they're footballers. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, they have to make a decision. And what rugby union has done, which I think is smart, they've stopped anyone who's signed a rugby league contract who has signed. So if you're in year 12 and you've got a contract like Isa Katoa, so he signed with the Dolphins, he couldn't play for New South Wales schoolboys or Australian schoolboys because he's chosen rugby league. So they're not going to reward him. And I think that's a good thing because what you're saying is you've made your choice. We're not going to give you the opportunity. So then you can't say
that on your resume is massive.
Massive.
It's when you play. I played Australian Schoolboys Union. Well, that's massive on your resume because you could probably possibly go to whatever team you want, really, can't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is pretty smart from Union because they have been on the back burner for a long time.
Yeah.
With a lot of these kids using the education system, the Newingtons, like St. Joey's and all these great schools to get that great education and then just go, I'm going to go play league. And that's what's happened for the last 5 to 10 years.
Because if I'm looking at I'm in year 12 and I'm looking at where rugby union was 5 years ago, and I've got Angus Crichton's a classic example. The Waratahs come to him and they say, listen, sign with us and we'll put you into the pathways, the Gen Blue pathways, and you probably won't play for the Waratahs for 3 or 4 years because we've got to train you up and you can play shoot shield. And then Maguire goes, we'll put you in first grade next year. What's a kid going to do?
And he's ready, and he was ready for first grade.
He was ready.
You know what I mean? Like, how could you say that to a kid who could play shoot shield? No, he should be playing for the Waratahs that next year,
straight away,
straight out of school, because he's good enough and he's
they've
big
lost
enough.
Him because of it, so.
And they've probably lost a heap of players like that.
Yeah.
If they had I think they just need to fix that whole system, rugby union.
Agreed.
They do need to fix it. I'm not sure about the intricacies about it, or you know more than me, but they need to fix it. Otherwise, Australian Union. I know we're coming on that. We're on the up, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. Massive.
You know what I mean? So, and that's what I think. If they can get a Suaalii and go, all right, well, this kid's willing to change from league, coming to union, like then you're going to get these young Polynesian kids wanting to play union more than league.
Yeah.
And I think they look at him as that person, that catalyst to go, all right, he's playing union, I want to play union. Do you know what I mean? And he could be world famous in that sort of sport. can play wherever he wants to. So it's a big decision from young Joseph. He's put himself in this position by the way that he plays and the person that he is and the character that he has. But he's played 1 year in it's his second year. This is his first year in league full time. So
and he's already taken up an option for next year with the Roosters.
Yeah, so he's going to be there, and he's got time on his side. And I know that he's on a fair wicket at the Roosters. It's probably going to go up again next year, and then he can renegotiate.
And from my perspective, if this is just a marketing tool, if this is just Rugby Australia trying to get themselves in the press, trust in your product, trust in the fact that you've got a group of young players coming through that can take you to where you want to be, and stop trying to get cheap headlines. Anyway, that's my rant.
It was pretty cheap if it wasn't. If it's a load of shit, that's very cheap.
Mate, Cameron Smith just signed with that LIV Golf, signed him for $100 million. Everyone's blowing up. So I take $100 million. If I'm Suaalii, take the $2 million a year. Take that, and then get injured and have 3 years off. So the other thing that was quite interesting, I found it quite interesting anyway, is the little Broncos implosions. They have obviously turned up some pretty dog shit performances in the last couple of weeks. They got pumped 2 weeks in a row at home, which has really put their finals. You can put a line through the Broncos, I think.
They had everything on the line, that's right. They had everything on the line. They had everything on the line. For the last 2 weeks, if they had a Jag 1 game, I think they'd be entrenched in the 8.
They'd be all right because...
They'd be all right. Yeah. But what the worst case scenario is what happened in the last 2 weeks. Getting dusted by 50 for 2 weeks in a row. Was it 127-point score or some shit like
ridiculous. That? Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Like, come on, Bronx. Like, I get it. And what did the Pearl say?
So, Kevin Walters was understandably upset. Like you would say up until these last 2 weeks that the Broncos season has been a success, coming from where they came from.
Top 4 most of the year.
Top 4 most of the year. They get pumped twice. Kevin Walters has gone, he's had a little spray. He's a coach. He's upset. He's, the people, human. So the Channel 9 and the Foxtel cameras show him blowing up, right? And they say, there's Kevy having a blow up. Anyway, reports start coming out that 2 players have got the little Suki Lalas because they didn't like the way, they didn't name them. So look, it might be media reports, but where there's smoke, there's fire.
Of course there is.
And Stephen Renouf has come out and called them soft privileged knobs and told them to toughen up. Greatest tweet ever, if that is true.
And I think that's being nice. I honestly think that's being nice, Pearl. And Pearl is the most respected, he's that dude where he doesn't usually come out and say outlandish shit like that. So for him to come out there and say some stuff, I think he's being nice. What do you call them? Privileged, like knobs. Entitled knobs or something like that.
Knob's a word, isn't it? Will?
Knob, yeah. No, I haven't heard of someone getting called a knob for a while.
No.
So I think it's he obviously means a doorknob.
Doorknob.
He does,
That's exactly
of course. Nothing else.
You don't want a soft knob.
No. And I just think Kevy Walters is a very emotional person, regardless of when he's coaching or not. You can see how when he talks passionately, he gets emotional. And the last 2 weeks, he's had a great season of coaching. Everything's gone great for Queensland this year. All the Queensland teams are going pretty successful, except for the Titans, and the Broncos are going well. Everyone is expecting to be in the top 8. You could probably just rule I don't think they're going to make the 8 now. Just rule a line through them because of their last 2 weeks. And that would make any man lose their shit, any coach lose their shit. All they had to do was even if they had got beaten, but just not by that much. Jag one of those games. They had a hard run. They had Melbourne and they had Para, 2 form teams, but they don't warrant, for what they've done all year defensively. What 50 was it? 56-6 and something.
Yeah,
it was just to carve up both games, and a lot of the effort things that Pearl would have been looking at and Kevy Walters would have been looking at just wasn't there, and what their standards are, and they'll go through that as coaches, the standards and what their beliefs are and what their ethos is and all that kind of stuff. They would have went through all that. That's not how we perform. Why do we perform like that? You start questioning a lot of things, and then. There hasn't been that many injuries. It's only Carrigan that's really been injured. suspended for the last, 3 games. You can't put it all on Carrigan. Of course, he's had a great year, but you've got some other players there that are brilliant players. Katoni Staggs, Payne Haas, Flegler, Cobbo, the Corey Oates. They've got a gun side, and they deserve. The coaching team and the Brisbane Broncos fans deserve more than what they've copped in the last couple of weeks. And if I was an ex-player, I'd be echoing the same as the Pearl.
So who's, like, looking back on your career, 2 questions for you. First question, have you ever taken a coach's spray, not directed directly at you, but just a coach's spray? Have you ever taken it personally? And the second question, who was responsible for the greatest blow up you saw coaching-wise?
Oh, I'd never take it personally. Because I would just always understand. I'm like, yeah, we deserve whatever they're saying. We deserve it. We played awful. There's no way a coach would be sitting there yelling at you if you played disgraceful. You know what I mean? Like, most coaches are pretty even keel. You'd have to play really fucking awful for those guys to actually blow up. Like Bellamy looks like. I mean, we've copped sprays from him after Origin games, but it wasn't. It was pretty warranted. Wayne Bennett, he can give some good sprays. Because he don't usually give you massive sprays. He's usually quite positive. So when Wayne says some stuff, it fucking hurts.
Yeah.
And he will tell you directly. You know what I mean? He doesn't indirectly say anything. If I stuffed up, Willie, you did this, I would never take it personal. I would never let it hurt my feelings. All I'd be thinking was, well, I didn't play that good. Get along with it. Get over it. Get along with the next week. How can we start the next week? I wouldn't be whinging to the media. I wouldn't be whinging to anyone like that. You'd probably have a bit of a laugh between teammates, going, "Fuck, that was awful." But what do you do about it? You can't control. It's whatever that moment was. It's gone. That's what I always believed. That moment was gone. We had time to control that moment. We played awful. We got smashed. The end. And that's up to leadership. I think if you have great leadership within your team leadership, you can get through that kind of stuff pretty easy. Because what should have been happened after that, and maybe they did have that, was a team, or the leadership group and the team. No coaches, no nothing. Let the team sort it out. That's what you usually do when you're in good teams like that. All right, coaches, get out. Everyone get out. Get me the playing group. We've got to get through this. Yeah. Obviously, because you get everything. You get all the coaches. You get whatever you want being an NRL player. You get all the best, the recovery stuff, the video, everything's given to you. It's just on a fucking plate. You just got to deliver on the field. And the only people that can get out of that, you get the game plan from the coach, you get everything from the coach, you get everything from the trainers, you get the physios, you got everyone looking after you, and all your job is to perform for 80 minutes. And that's where, good leadership comes in. Guys like Melbourne teams, Penrith teams, South, all those higher teams, they have great leadership with their teams, with their leadership groups. That would solve a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but like most coaches, they have their little blow ups, but I would never fucking take anything like that personally.
Who was the best blow up? Was there one that sticks out, or
Neil Henry had a couple of big ones when I was at the Cowboys, but deservedly so. We were playing shit.
Do you reckon Bellamy's an outlier, right? But coaches yelling, it doesn't really. If the coach is
coaching yelling, but if the coach is like personally attacking you, like. And you don't really like that coach. I mean, Wayne Bennett has the credibility to absolutely tear shreds off you, and he barely does that.
Yeah,
like he'll just say, "You should have done this, Willie." You know what I mean? It wouldn't be like you played awful, blah blah blah. So you should have worked on this. You should have done that. It's only sometimes. This is very rare. He rarely ever points someone out, but if he has to, he will, because he shows. He's boss. Other people look at that and go, fuck, he's having a crack at Mace, or he's having a crack at Darius Boyd or Kurt Gidley or, Alan Langer. He doesn't care. He does not care. Like if he sees it how it is, and he's coached some of the greatest players of all time. It doesn't matter how great you are, or how great you think you are. He'll put you straight in your place.
I reckon the worst one I ever got, I got hooked and I walked off and I was that upset, and the coach comes up and he goes, "It's not your fault." I said, "Oh, thanks, mate." He goes, "It's my fault for picking you." I said, "Oh, right, very good."
That's a great one.
Mate, I never got over it.
That's awesome.
That was the end of it. Now, the other thing as well, what about...
I'm going to use that.
What about the Penrith Panthers?
Sorry.
Mate, it's still hurtful. Stop
Fucking
laughing. It's still hurtful. The Penrith Panthers, basically, they've got the coaches playing, the mascots playing.
Yeah.
They've got the bloke in the canteen. He's having a run. They've rested virtually everyone, which they can afford to do. Other sides have probably pulled a couple of players here and there, but for the most part, the resting... Melbourne have done it a couple of times. Is it good that a side that has got they know where they're going to finish?
Yeah.
And they can give their players a rest and let some young players have a go?
100%.
Or should they just have a bye round like the AFL do where no one plays and everyone has a week off and then there's no reason for resting? Like, does it devalue the game?
No, I don't think it devalues the game. I think the only team that's really resting players that is very noticeable is Penrith.
The entire Penrith
There's
side.
13 players getting rested. And those 13 players deserve a rest.
Yeah.
This is their third really big campaign deep into the semi-finals. They've had about 8 to 10 rep players, whether it be New Zealand, Australia, New South Wales or Queensland. They've had big runs, and if a team deserves a break, it's Penrith. The way they train hard, they train intense, and the coaching out there is great, and they deserve a rest. They do deserve a rest, and that week off will serve them unbelievably, I reckon, because I think guys like Toto and Yayo and even like Fisher Harris, I'm not sure if they're resting Fisher Harris.
I think so.
Leota, Crichton, like even Dylan Edwards, they've
Targo.
May, everyone, like they all deserve a rest. And these young kids, you watch this team give North Queensland
They'll still go all right.
Give North Queensland a bit of a shock, because they've been chomping at the bits trying to get into that first grade, and they just want to prove to that first grade coach. So next man up mentality, someone gets injured, I'm ready. Especially these young forwards, I'm ready. You know what I mean? Like their outside backs, I'm ready.
Isn't Ivan having the week off too? He's resting himself.
Yeah, Ivan's out.
Serraldo's
Serraldo's out.
He's got all of them.
Everyone's out. They're going to bring the Jersey flag coach up. I get it. Other teams, I'm not sure how many people are getting rested from. I don't think North Queensland's going to rest anyone. They haven't been going that good. Souths aren't going to rest anyone. No one, because I don't think anyone is in that position to rest.
Well, there's a lot of teams that because if Para beat.
I think Para might rest some players.
No, because Para have to win
to get a top 4.
Otherwise, they cop the Roosters or Souths next week. So they'd rather play Canberra. So they really have to try and beat Melbourne to try. So there's a couple of games that still have sort of some bearing. And I mean, if you come in last, you're not going to rest players because what's a point? So, poor old Tigers. What about anyway? We'll talk about the Tigers later.
Bring the Tigers up. Did they get the spoon?
Yeah.
Or is it? No,
they have to get the spoon.
Yeah, but aren't they both on 8 points?
They what with the Titans? Yeah, but they're on.
Just wait.
Well, they could win maybe.
Well, both. No. Oh, look at their for and against is so bad.
So bad.
Yeah, Tigers have got it. Even if they win, they'd have to win by like 70 points.
They're not going to do that. So, just quickly before we move on, we'll go to the games in a sec. But, mate, what about the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs? Ever since you've arrived there, they're basically the new Roosters. Every time a player comes on the market, you're going to sign them. This week you've got Ben Hunt and Munster. That's a good halves. Good halves.
I think Latrell, Cody, Burton, Kickow. We've got everyone.
I think
they don't realise that they're getting paid in pesos.
South Pacific.
They don't know. Or Kina. So yes, jokes on them. So we'll give you a million Kina or lira.
All right. So the Para versus Storm game that actually does have a bearing on the table. So if Parramatta win, then they will finish 5th regardless. If Parramatta lose, then whoever wins out of the Roosters and Souths, I think jumps.
I'm going to that game.
Yeah,
doing some work with the tab. So I'm going to be on Thursday. I'm going to be in Redfern around about 10:30ish. Like just doing a bit of on the street, talking to people, see how they're feeling, and then I'm going to be in Bondi. Doing the same thing along the Esplanade, just to see how the feeling is going on the first game and everything like that. Yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be a bit of fun.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
So I can't wait for that. And then I'm going to go to the game and probably just obviously just do a tour of the whole place and just talk to people, see how because I want to go to the game.
Well, I'm out there. Yeah, Finn, I'm taking Finn out. So.
Well, tell me where you're sitting. I'll come and interview you. I will.
You won't be interviewing me. Thank you.
Yes, I will be.
This game, I don't know. It's a hard one to pick because Parramatta, when they're good, they're good. And when they're bad, they're awful. And Melbourne are always good. So, but they don't have the strike power with the injuries that they've had. So,
bit of a bogey team, but Parramatta always seem to have their measure.
Parramatta always seem to beat Penrith and Melbourne,
and they're the main ones. They just don't want to face South or the Roosters.
Yeah,
they're the only ones that they're they're like, fuck South. South has just got the wood on them. Some
Yeah, they do.
some teams, they play a certain style that you just hate. And that left edge of South and Parramatta's right edge, they can't deal with them.
No.
They just can't. Like, I don't know what they're throwing at them. They just can't seem to get their numbers right. You know, Johnson scored, I think, the last 6 tries in the last 2 games. Latrell's made them look like kids.
Yeah.
Cody's just been on fire. You know, like they're going to be hard. They'll be hard to beat, Penrith. South. So I don't know. It's all strategic at the moment. Like I know they just don't want to play each other.
Yeah.
So is there a chance for Parra to play South in that first round?
So if the Roosters win, and Parra lose, I'm pretty sure it's
Roosters
Parra
fourth?
versus South.
No.
So Roosters are 6th, but they're the same as Souths.
Yeah.
And then Parra are 5th. But you're looking at it now.
Yeah.
So Storm are 4th,
Yeah.
Parra 5th. Roosters
So if Parra
6th.
win against the Storm, they come fourth.
They come. Yep. Do they on for and against?
No, but like because they're on 32 points each.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. So
right.
they'll just jump them straight away.
Oh, they'll just jump them. Oh, well, there you go. So, but at least they get a second. They get a second bite of the cherry. So I'm glad I looked at that before I said what I was saying.
So the Roosters and the Rabbits are on the same 30 and 30.
Yeah, 30.
30 and 30.
So who wins that? Will?
Roosters and Rabbits?
No.
Oh.
Eels Storm.
Oh, the Eels.
Eels.
I think the Eels get them. Yeah, I do.
Right. You all right there?
Yeah, sorry.
Just headbutting.
What
The
do you
Bulldogs.
reckon?
I think the Eels will win too. I think that's wrong. I don't think the Storm are favourites. I think the Eels are favourites. Henry's on vacation already, mentally. The Bulldogs and the Eagles.
No,
the Eagles.
yeah, the Eels are $2. Storm's $1.80.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. So I don't know how to set a market. The Bulldogs and the Eagles. The Bulldogs will win that because Manly are woeful.
They're paying
Woeful.
$1.50. The Dogs.
Yeah, let's get on them.
Yeah, but that's not a good bet.
It's not a good bet at all.
$2.60. By the way, who won last week?
We need to talk about that.
Hey, I didn't even know until I spoke to Bobby. He goes, how good's that? We got up. I said, what are you fucking talking about? He goes,
Do you know what?
the bet that we got, I said, no way. So we're going to win $800.
Well, sometimes
for the kids.
Sometimes, Will, when you win, it's about the glory rather than.
I didn't know because I was out all weekend.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah,
to put it
you
on.
didn't even know. What?
What? So it's the glory. You know you won.
Oh, you didn't put the bet on?
I forgot the one time.
Oh, fuck.
I
Are
put
you
mine on.
serious?
Yeah. I am. I'm sorry. I'm gonna donate some money though. For the bet.
Oh, you're the worst.
But, the one time you win and I forget to do it. And the worst thing was,
It was $800.
Yeah, $765. So Henry's basically said to me last week, he goes, how? So who? I said, I put Will's bets on every week. And then 1 week I forget and you win. When he sent that message, I was like, yeah, unreal. We've all won. That's so good. And then I checked my account before Zig got here and I was like, I didn't put it on. Anyway.
What do you do? Hey, you can't do anything
What do
about
you do? So the Bulldogs will win that.
Oh, you're the worst.
Let's move on. Thank you.
So I've won the most money, but this year, I reckon. I have.
Well,
With it, you include that
you
one,
definitely
mate.
have.
You
We're
include
including
that
that
one.
We're including that one. It's glory, William.
Wow.
It's glory.
So I was wondering where you're going with Glory. I said, no, I won. Who cares?
Yeah, no, it's glory. It's glory.
Lost.
So the Roosters Rabbits, that will be a good game. I'm
This
actually
should be
really
the
looking
best.
forward to seeing the stadium. I tell you what, all the people that came out and they were like, we don't need a new stadium. They'll be the first people there lined up to get into the joint.
I just want to see how it's set out. Like I like how the cricket ground, how like Hems has put his little touch on it. That big area where you can sit around and you can have a couple of beers, all that kind of stuff. $25 for a beer.
$700 for a schooner.
That sucks. But I'll be interested to see how it's set out. If it's going to be like the old one, is it going to be like, just a totally different vibe?
I don't
know.
I got a good mate who works for Venues New South Wales. Hello, Timmy, and he reckons it's unreal.
Who's hooking your tickets up?
I'm a member now. So
Yes.
I knew you'd have.
I've
big
got
dog.
someone.
You got big dog. All right. So the Warriors again. No, well, hang on. The Roosters Rabbitohs. I think the Roosters win that.
Oh, I don't know who I backed. Who did I back?
You back the Rabbits.
I did the back. Yeah. Yep.
But I think the Roosters win, and I know more.
I just think Victor Radley being out, I think
that's
he's
true.
been the catalyst for those
And Lindsay
guys.
Collins.
Absolutely killing everyone. Lindsay Collins has been busting everyone up and himself. And same as Victor Radley.
Yeah.
And he's the heart and soul of that team. Hargrave's been outstanding. Big man Matt Lodge been outstanding. I think it's going to be great. Like Totola and the young kid, you got Jairo, Hame Sele. Yeah, it's going to be a good battle in the middle there.
They'll miss Cook, though. They will miss Cook, the
But
Rabbits.
that Havili
Havili's
does a good.
good.
So Havili tackles better.
Yeah, he does.
Havili's like a brick. So all he has to do is I mean, he'll probably miss the offload. He won't be as dynamic when
Running out of dummy half.
when Cam Murray's got the offloads and all that kind of shit. But like all he has to do is like catch it off thing and bang, just shift it. You know what I mean? I think that would be his game plan because he doesn't have the pace, obviously, like Cook. But when Cam Murray's getting those offloads, he'll be going, boom, where the hell are you, Latrell? Where the hell are you, Cody?
Yeah.
That's what he's going to be doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it has its pluses and minuses. I think, is Cook suspended or is he injured?
COVID.
Oh, he's got COVID, so he'll be fine next week or the week after. But
Yeah.
I don't think they really lose that much.
I think he would have been fine this week.
I
But
honestly don't think they'll lose that much without Havili coming on. Because I rate him. I reckon he's been outstanding all year.
the Warriors and the Titans.
Oh, God.
Titans, you know what? You know what I hate about the Titans as well, now that I think about it? I was sitting there cheering the Titans on Sunday because your bet was going to get up. And now I wish Newcastle had dusted them by 100.
Yeah, same.
Because then I wouldn't
Wish
have had to have
something.
that conversation. So I hate the Titans even more now. I hope you get flogged. The Dragons.
I think the Warriors are going to win. Last game at Mount Smart, I told you how hard they are to beat over there.
Yeah.
And the drums will be out. It'll be insane. I mean, they've had a hard 3 years, and just ended on a good note.
Congratulations.
And then
to
they
the
can
Warriors
start
too.
fresh next year, fresh everything, coaching. Was Brownie still
New
there?
players.
Is Brownie still there? So not new coaching?
No, he's got. No, he's
Is he
Brownie's
gone?
not- Brownie's gone.
Oh, Brownie's gone.
Now
So-
Stacey Jones, the interim coach, and then there's a bloke from Penrith next year.
Oh, so Webster.
Yeah,
Andrew
yeah.
Webster's going to go. So good luck to Andrew Webster. He's been good. I've known him for about 10 or 15 years. Great person, great kid. Knows his footy. Hopefully he goes over there. It's going to be hard to change that. I mean, he's still a young coach, but hopefully he can bring some of those Penrith morals, ethics, how to play, same sort of system, just that real hard-nosed football. Penrith don't overcomplicate shit. They're just fucking hard men. They are.
I thought it was a bloke writes for the Herald that was coaching him. So Broncos and the Dragons. I actually love that Andrew Webster. He's a really good writer.
No, Webby's-
he's an unreal bloke.
Webby's
too.
a champion. Did you think it was? Oh, yeah, I know. I only just got it then. Shout out to Webby. He's the best journo in Australia.
I am.
Love having a beer with
I'm
him.
a journo. So the Dragons and the Broncos. Surely, Net Strata Jubilee Stadium.
I reckon St George win.
You
I
reckon St.
honestly
George
do.
win?
I just think.
Broncos are cooked.
Yep. I just don't. I reckon they've done. Last week just tore their hearts out. I don't care. But what happens if they do win?
Nothing.
Do they get in the 8?
No, they have to win by the Canberra have to lose.
So Canberra have to lose against the Tigers.
which could happen. Tigers
I mean, it
fans.
could happen. It's at Leichhardt Oval last game. This is where people really don't understand. It's just like, okay, we know you've been playing pretty shit all year, but it is your last game. There's going to be players leaving, all that sort of shit. But then on the flip side, Canberra's got a top 8 spot to deal with. So I think that trumps you leaving the club, Tarmow, and all these other guys that are leaving. Because Canberra have that extra bit to play for. I understand you. I mean, it's different if you're not making the 8 at all. Who gives a shit? It's just whoever can turn up and just put that extra effort in. If you're talking about
the Titans game,
the Titans and whoever they're playing, Titans and Warriors. It's like whoever turns up on the day and puts that extra effort in. But when it comes to a team who's got their balls on the line and they'll know, because they'll know, like if the Broncos beat the Dragons, they get to wait till Sunday and put everything on the line.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's the beauty of it. So I just don't think Canberra's going to lose.
What about Cowboys Panthers? This would have been a great game, but you got Panthers Reggies. That's
I reckon I'm going to be going Cowboys because they should win.
fuck,
They should
mate.
have a lot. The Panthers will be all right. They'll be solid, but they just won't have the quality that the Cowboys have got. And the Cowboys need to really show some people that they're fair dinkum.
Yeah,
the last
they got
couple
a
of
win.
weeks,
Yeah, they got
they've been beaten pretty, quite convincingly.
It's
so
good for the Panthers too because no one expects them to win. So if they come out,
mate,
if
they're
they
going to
get
go up there.
flogged-
They're going to go up there with an ambush, and you know what? Regardless, it's going to be physical.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? They're going to try and bash the Cowboys legally, of course. So they've
Of
battled
course.
for that next week. So you're going to go up there with a bunch of hitters.
yeah.
And make sure Taumalolo's feeling it. Make sure all the younger kids, the back rowers, everyone's going to feel it. So Penrith have that team, man. Penrith have those young kids that they can hit.
The Knights and the Sharks win that.
Old Boys Day up there. They usually have a good turnout. It'll be a great turnout.
How many do they have? Old Boys Day. They have a
Just
couple.
one.
Just one, is it?
Just one, yeah. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go up there. I'm not sure I'm doing this week. It's 2:00 on a Sunday. Fuck. I'd have to catch the Red Rattler up there. Yeah, I don't think the Knights can beat the Sharks.
it's
The
Father's
Sharks have
Day.
got two.
You won't be going.
It is.
there.
Oh, it is Father's Day too.
you
Yeah,
won't be
shit,
going,
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. And Tigers, Raiders. Can I just tell you, when you probably would have been in the cocoon of hatred at that point by Sunday afternoon, but there was a dropout. So Tigers are in front, Dragons drop it out, and the poor West Tigers winger, he's standing in the 10-metre line. So the ball's short, and I don't know why he was standing in the 10, but he's standing in the 10 and he lets the ball hit his foot. I watched that and I was like, why would you, if I was coaching my 13s and someone did that, I'd be like, what, you're a first grade footballer.
Let's just give a little bit of a shout out to the people that are playing on Friday night that won't be in the 8. Bulldogs, Eagles, the Warriors and Titans on the Saturday, St. George, maybe the Broncos, the Knights. Take care of each other on the weekend because obviously it's Mad Monday and there's a lot of shit going on, a lot of pressure in society against you NRL players. Just make sure shit's private. Don't be fucking stupid.
Put your
and do
phone
dumb shit. Put
in
your
the
phone
bin.
away. Be street smart. Do I have to spell it out for you? Just don't be so dumb and think that you're not going to get caught doing dumb shit. This is the time of year where they're going to get you and they're going to look for you. If you're in a pub doing stupid shit, if you're doing everything else, you know what I mean? If you're in the public eye, expect something. Expect a
paparazzi are
phone.
coming
You know
for
what I
you.
mean? Like just
Yeah.
lock it down. Lock it down in a pub somewhere so no one else can get in but the group. Put your phones in a fucking hat. Grow up for fuck's sake because it hits us all. We are hit with the same brush all the time. Grow the fuck up.
Well said, Elder Statesman Mason.
Jesus.
I think the Raiders will win that. But anyway, there's some good games and there's a couple of games that are basically just leading and they're keeping the players from Mad Monday. So I don't think.
But I mean, it's going to be a big campaign playing on that Friday. If you can get to Sunday. Whew.
Willie's Big Boys.
All right, Willie's Big Boys. This week, I thought they were outstanding. There's a couple of new faces on there. So my first vote goes for Sean Lane, 1 point. Did you see that kid on the weekend?
Oh, he's so good.
He was outstanding.
So good.
Played like a big man on that left edge. It was like he was untouchable. He was surely like he was outstanding. He was the best player on the field, and I thought Junior Paulo was outstanding. I thought Campbell Gillard was outstanding. I thought they played some really good football. But I think I can't go past Lane. I mean, he is a big boy. He's like 6'6" and about 110 kilos. So it's not like he's on the back road doing nothing. Anyway, so 2 votes goes to James Fisher Harris. The dude's a machine. I think he's just putting up numbers that are just crazy. I think it's like 18 hit ups, 190 meters gained. I think who Penrith play on the weekend? So they played.
Penrith beat on
I think they beat the
Friday
Warriors.
night.
Was
Yeah,
it
they
the
beat the
Warriors?
Warriors
Yeah,
by
and
a
I just even though the Warriors aren't that good on the table, they are still a very, very physical team. 3 points, newcomer on the table, Matt Lodge. He's been playing his best football of his career, hasn't he?
He has.
And who did they play?
Roosters beat Melbourne.
They played Melbourne, and which Melbourne were on. That was one of the most brutal games I've seen for ages. Matt Lodge and Hargraves and Takayaho led the way. Victor Radley, these blokes, Lindsay Collins. I think Lindsay Collins got another head knock. Was that right? Or was he injured?
He got suspended.
Suspended?
Yeah, he did a hip drop.
Yes. Fuck. I mean, they just got to get that out of their game.
It's bad.
They need to understand. There should be a rule. If you lose your legs, so if you go into the tackle, if you lose your legs onto your knees, it's an automatic penalty because you know you're going to be dropping your hips on the back of his legs. So you've got to be able to keep your feet. You can rule that if they change the rules to this and you've got to keep your feet if you come in third man in, you will not be hip dropping if you keep your legs. But if you fall on the ground and you're trying to do that, like people pushing this way and this way, if you don't have your legs, like you could fall over your hips. You know what I mean? Like it's just a stupid thing. You got to change your technique. So Lodge gets my 3 points. I thought he was outstanding, especially against like guys like Big Solomono. I thought he was outstanding. Bromwich, they had some big boppers out there as well. So that's the leaderboard for the big boys at the moment. Campbell Gillard's on 11. Fisher Harris Junior Paulo second on.
Well, Fisher Harris will get 2.
So Fisher Harris has got 2.
He might be up to 15 now. I'll check.
Did he not do the numbers? God, you're hopeless. Fucking Henry. So I think Fisher Harris might be on.
I think he's one behind.
I think he might be on 15.
Yeah, I think he's
Junior
on 15.
Paul is on 14. Campbell Gillard on 11, but we'll fix that next week. Anyway, so what are the bets this week?
All right.
Even though like mine.
All right. So your bet is Manly Seagulls with 6.5 start. New Zealand Warriors and Gold Coast Titans to be high point scoring, 56.5. St George to win with 3.5 start, and North Queensland Penrith to be over 47.5. So that is paying
$15.
And I will 100% make sure that goes on this week, William.
It's so disappointing.
Promises.
I'm telling Bobby.
And then the producer has gone Para, Roosters, Souths. What?
Para Souths.
How can
Sydney
how
Roosters,
can he have Sydney Roosters and then South Sydney Rabbitohs versus North Queensland? Oh, that's one. That's from last week. So Craig hasn't put one in yet. The producer hasn't put one in.
Make one up for him.
I'm reading out. We'll make one up. I haven't done it either because I couldn't be bothered. I'm still hurting from the whole non-bet.
You should be.
I know.
Should be.
I know. It's not.
You know
good.
I love winning. Like when
Well,
I
you still
don't
won.
even mean.
You did win. I mean, did you win though, Will, or did the bloke putting the bets on?
No.
It's you.
I
mate.
asked for the bet, all right? So I win.
All right, you win. And then the tipping, Para. I've gone Para, Dogs, Roosters, Titans, Broncos, Cowboys, Sharks, Raiders. You've gone Para, Dogs, Souths, New Zealand, St George, Cows, Sharks, Canberra.
Yep.
Producer's a knob. He's a soft privileged knob, so we're not reading his out. Got a few Twitter questions for us too, Will, this week, which I will now read
give
out.
it to me.
So Anton, our mate from Queensland, he was from New Zealand. I love him, actually. He's a very funny human. So after 3 seasons of eating shit on the road, the Warriors have only been given 9 games at Mount Start next year. You'd think a few teams would have taken a home game to New Zealand somewhere so the Warriors don't have to. It doesn't feel like the NRL has really done enough.
I totally agree. And I think, I'm not sure, is this locked in?
So it's a member email.
It's a member's email.
Yeah,
so I'm pretty sure a couple of NRL teams will take their games over to New Zealand. We did it this year.
Yep.
I think we've done one this year. So I think a lot of teams, man, they're not going to forget what New Zealand did for the NRL. At the end of the day, they kept it afloat. You know, they did keep it afloat the way that they come over here for 3 years. They living out of hotels. They had no family support. They had nothing. And they survived. So hopefully next year they can get back there and clubs can do them a solid, man. Like, come on, go over there. Like, and you know, look how much money the Warriors would have lost.
Or play
you know
at
what I mean?
Christchurch.
Like,
Doesn't have to
play
be
at
Mount Start.
Christchurch, play
Move
at
around.
Wellington.
Yeah.
Just be in New Zealand. Get the game over in New Zealand more. It needs to be there. It's obviously lost. You know, in the last 3 years we haven't had many games there. But come on. I'm pretty sure. Just have some faith, mate. I think a few teams will take one of their games over there. So I reckon they could end up with like 15 home games.
And from the NRL's perspective too, the All Blacks for the first time in, like, Ian Foster now, the coach of the All Blacks, they want to string him up over there. He's got to get a police guard over shit. And so
It's time to strike.
if you look at where rugby union is going to be at the weakest, they've lost more games than they've won this year, which I can never remember. So I think it's a good time for them.
I don't think I can't remember either. That's ridiculous. Like for New Zealand to be even in this position where the All Blacks be in this position where, you know, they're calling for the coach's head and they've lost what they lost two tests in a row and it was the end of the world.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, well, strike while the iron's hot. Take as many games as you can to New Zealand. Thank fuck I'm not playing, so go over to New Zealand as long as you can, as many as you can. Get all the teams over there. Play the Anzac Test over there. Play a World Cup warm-up over there. Do everything.
You used to love playing in New
But
Zealand.
I used to love playing New Zealand.
Did you, though?
I know I did, test-wise.
Well, you didn't like playing against
Test-wise.
the Warriors.
Yeah, but the Warriors were so... Mate, I don't think you understand how physical those games were, man. Like when we used to play against the Warriors, it ain't the Warriors that they're dishing out now. You try and go against Monty Beetham and Jerry Searcy and fucking Owen Guttenbeil and dudes that were just animals, man. Like it was... And I'm a young kid... Just try and do my best with the whole team, try and take my head off.
Yeah, it was good.
Which made me play better.
Yeah.
It did. It honestly did. We had a really good team. We had some fucking great battles at Mount Smart, man. Like if you go look back in those early 2000s when they had some heavy hitters, man. So did we. So we're both top four teams, man. Some really good memories on the field, off the field, mate. Like I can't honestly complain. Because even though I whinge about going to fucking New Zealand, you just don't like travelling on a plane. I don't like sitting on a plane for 3 or 4 hours. I've got 2 hours max in me. I've got ADHD, I'm done. I'm going to get up and fucking walk around. You know what I mean? And I'm not one of those blokes who can just sleep the whole way.
No.
I can't. I'm awake the whole way. Maybe it's a little bit different now. I could watch like an iPad or some shit like that. But then I'll get bored and I'll probably just annoy you the whole time. You know what I mean? But that's the only reason why I don't like going over there. And you come back battered and hungover.
I remember
it ain't that fun.
When we went,
and I mean, that's everyone's. That's what I keep saying all the time. That's everyone's memories of playing in New Zealand. It's just like, well, you get over there. It's you playing right now. Gold Coast are playing there right now. You know, wouldn't be rather playing on the Gold Coast? No, you got to travel all the way over there. Usually it's about 6 o'clock flight on the way over there, and you kept spending a couple of days, and then it's a 6 o'clock flight on the way home, which means that you're up at 3:30, getting to the airport at 4. So come on, do the math. Do what we used to do when we were overseas, which was get on the piss and no sleep, and then you fucking get on the plane and you come home. Then you wake up and you're in Australia and go, what the hell happened? I'm so sore. You know what I mean? Like everything just hits you at one time. And like that's what I mean by I don't want to go to fucking New Zealand.
Yeah, I know.
But I love New Zealand. That's what you got to understand. I love it. Especially in the summertime when we had the Auckland Nines over there. It was beautiful. Everybody got to see that what the New Zealand was like in the summer. Everyone changed their whole perspective on it. Eden Park, 50,000 for 2 days. You know, shout out to Duco Events. Best 2 days ever. You know what I mean? Do what you want. Everyone was over there. They paid everybody. Everyone was having so much fun. 28 degrees every day. Like packed out Eden Park, 50,000 every day. Dude, no one does that. Do they? Unless it's union.
That's right.
I did. I was ambassador. I did it.
You were the worst injury you got at that stadium was when your brother sat on your head out the front of the
When
stadium.
me and Les had WrestleMania fucking 53 outside and the cops thought I was getting bashed by it's like 2 big silverbacks having a fight. It was just a wrestling match and he nearly broke my wrist.
He did.
Bastard.
And also, I remember coming back from Papua New Guinea when we flew over to Papua New Guinea with King Kez, and I reckon those little mini bottles of white wine, and the hostess just gave up with us pressing the button and just left about 20 of them. She just went, here you go.
Just have some.
That was quite the trip home. All right, so Jay Ross wants to know, what does Brent Naden have to do to be picked at centre?
I don't know. What position do you play? You wing?
On the wing.
Well, who's their centres? I honestly think he's a winger.
He maybe wants
to
to
be
play
honest.
wing.
I mean, he probably wants to play centre, but I think he's got a few things to learn. I think he's got some natural talent like Brent Naden. He's got a lot of things, but he's got a lot of things to fix up as well. Like defensively, like he needs another pre-season with the Tigers so he can get some continuity going on. Centres and wingers have got to be on the same page. And even the guy that's on his inside, which would be a 7 or a 6, he's been in and out of the team, so you don't really know. There's no continuity in between his winger, centre, and halfback. So they need that. That's what pre-seasons are for. They need to be on the same page. He can play winger, he can play centre, he can play fullback. The kid can just play. But I'm not sure whether he's a centre or a winger. I just know he's a footballer. And he just needs to keep learning on his keep working on his craft, and then maybe one day he can be a centre, because I think he can play both.
Imagine if you wanted to play a position and then
I'm not sure if Nades has come out and said I want to play centre, or is this guy just want Naden to play centre?
And I think Jay wants him to play centre.
Clarify.
And then
you got to clarify that shit.
And then you can't, and your side comes last. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Con, good on you, Con. I love the gladiatorial. Here we go, making big words. Physicality, Con. These are big words for me. And intensity of games, like the one we saw between East and Melbourne, JWH versus NAS. I reckon viewers are attracted to this type of game rather than the sanitised version of the game. Some sections of the media are pushing for. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I love what you're saying, and I thought everybody who watched that game was just going, damn, that's how rugby league's supposed to be played. One biggest guy versus the other biggest guy, taking each other on legally. There was no high shots, nothing like that. It was just aggressive. There wasn't any fights. It was just pushing and shoving going along. Do you know what I mean? I thought that was awesome. I mean, like the young bull, Big Nas taking on the old bull, and he got handled.
Yeah,
didn't he?
He did.
J-Dub got him perfect one around there. I just think after it, when Hargraves just couldn't help but try and rip his face off. And I don't know if he was headbutting him or kissing him. I'm not sure what it was.
Kissing.
I'll just say he was kissing him on the forehead. And I just don't think it deserved to be sent off. I mean, like, I get it. It's an aggressive game. You got two big men going at it. Like, everybody who loves rugby league loved that game. Everyone loved it. Everyone was messaging each other on every single fucking forum. You know what I mean? Twitter was going off. They were all raving about it. Even like I'm on that many chat groups with like other people. How good's rugby league? And these guys are AFL fans and Union fans and PK, all those other blokes going, how good's this? Like, what a great game. Everything was so complimentary. And they're going, why the fuck did you get sent off for? So I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, they're asking me for my like expert opinion. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's just they just don't want that in the game anymore. Like, why did he get sent off for?
I don't know.
Was it back chat? Was it like just because he just went along too much with it on the ground? Was it too aggressive? Maybe it was just that legal hit and then just sort of, sat on him and, I don't know, and then got off and it would have been fine. But I think tempers were boiling. You can see Victor Radley coming in. You see everyone pushing. Everyone was ready to go. I mean, if that was 10 years ago, they would have fired off straight away. So I'm not sure. I'm with you, mate. I like seeing games like that, and I thought it was played fair. I just don't think it deserved a send off for 10.
They love sending him off though. And so Trident. I wonder if that's a brag. The Trident. He wants to know, was Sonny Bill better at league or union? It's a good question.
It is a good question. I think he had his peak in league when he was hitting like a truck, the skill set that he had. I think league union might have sanitised the way that he played because he couldn't shoulder charge. He had to hit legally, so that took his ferocity out of his tackles, and he couldn't really like proper hit someone like he was in league, when he was hitting shoulder charges and stuff like that. So I think it took a little bit out of him, and, playing in the centres where you couldn't stop his creativity with his offloads and everything like that, but he had to really change his game up, and it's credit to Sonny how he did it.
For sure, yeah.
It didn't take him that long to adapt. The kid's just a freak. He understands the game. He understands how to beat people. If it's 3-on-3 down the short side, he'll somehow make it he'll somehow make it an extra man.
5-on-1.
Like it's just him. He'll show inside. He'll look outside. He can come on their way, that way, any way he wants, and he can. He's the skill set that kid has is phenomenal, and for him to be. But I think 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then he come back about 12, 13, 14. I mean, like 13, 14, 15-ish. 13, 14. He was outstanding.
Yeah,
he was, and I think league suits him more because he's more aggressive.
Yeah,
and he can sort of pick and choose, and it's not as structured as union is, where you have to get to certain places, and he can't really push that ball because you got to set the breakdown and the mistakes and the field position and all that kind of stuff. So he really bought into that when he went to union, and he was just a pro's pro. And he was outstanding at both. But I think playing with him for 4 years, I think I saw the best Sonny Bill version. 4, 5, 6, 7. It was like, whew, I've never seen anything like it.
Well, here you go. What do you reckon he liked more? Has he ever spoken to you about it?
Yeah. I don't think he hadn't really said it to me, but I mean, I think he enjoyed league probably the most. Probably his fondest memories coming through the system in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with the people that he come through with, myself and Rennie and Tong and Roy and all those sort of blokes, JT and everyone like that. We had a real brotherhood there, and it's still there now. So I think he really enjoyed his time at the Bulldogs for those 5 or 6 years when he was. I think he was down. I think he come down like 02. So 02, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's where you grow up. Same as I come down 98, 99, 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I was there. So when you grow up around those boys and you train together, you sweat together, you bleed together, all those kind of things. When you're a young kid, not even playing first grade, all that means all these memories just come flooding back to those moments when you're old and you're retired and it's all done. I think he reflects back on that as maybe the funnest time of his career. Because, even talking to him, he's always talking about, remember in 06? And I'm like, fuck, I'm trying to forget that shit.
Well, anyway, he's had a terrific career.
Yeah,
so thank you to everyone for tuning in. We're on all the things, Spotify, Apples. Rate and review. I know what that is now, rating and reviewing. They put like reviews of us. Do that. Say we're good. And
thumbs up or a star or something?
Yeah, thumbs up, I think. Double thumbs up. And I'll see you...
Just tell the truth.
Friday night.
Yeah, I will. I'll see you then. Can't wait.
Bye.
They'll be following Willie more and more. Back in the NRL is Willie Mason.
I've forgotten how big Willie actually is.
Perhaps the presence of Willie had the Panthers looking at his imposing frame.
I'm a 25-minute man. Oh, you got skill, son.
Uppercut right hand by Big Willie.
Too fancy for you.
You've been listening to The Take with Willie Mason and co-host Ian Byrne. Produced by Craig Trewick, recorded and engineered by Zig Parker of Green Room Sydney, and presented by the Handshake Media Network.